Welcome inside the war room, the front line of MMA analysis. Alongside Chris Shroyer, I'm Srikar Rajendran. Now, we are recording this after UFC Baku. It's late at night for Chris. Not as late in the night for me. Sam, unfortunately, cannot be here for this one. But that's not what we're going to lead off with, because there was some even bigger news that dropped today. And it was in that Baku press conference where Dana White basically just took 5 seconds and said, yeah, Jon Jones is retired and Tom Aspinall is the new undisputed heavyweight champion of the world.
It's crazy.
And it's crazy. Like, just like that, Jon Jones is retired, and this whole Jones Aspinall saga has, I guess, come to an end for the time being. And
halt.
Yeah, we're not going to see them unify the titles, at least not just yet. I mean, you can't really rule out anything with Jon Jones, but it does seem like he is retiring for good. I don't really think there's any incentive for him to come back at this point. But let's break it down. I mean, this is some pretty big news. Obviously, I'm a big Tom Aspinall guy. I'm a big Tom Aspinall fan. Chris is a big Jon Jones guy, big Jon Jones fan. I'll let you start because obviously it is Jon Jones's retirement. I guess this is his moment, if you will. So I'll let you kick things off.
Yeah. I mean, there was kind of a build up to this, and even I believe it was a few days ago, I saw the clip from the Nelk podcast when Jon Jones said, I just really don't have the itch to fight anymore. And he said Tom doesn't interest him, which, you know, I can't speak for the man. That he said how he feels. And to me, I personally think that for that to be the ultimate decision that was made, I think that could have been made sooner. It should have been made sooner. I think it wasn't fair to Tom Aspinall. It's not fair to Tom Aspinall. I mean, unless he really wanted to fight Tom Aspinall. And if he really wanted to fight Tom Aspinall, I think this fight would have been done a very long time ago. I do think, I was saying this to you, Srikar, before, that, you know, maybe this fight could have happened when Jones was originally supposed to fight Stipe Miocic at MSG, and then he tore his pec. That put a very long halt to that to the trajectory of the heavyweight division, because obviously Jon Jones wasn't going to be stripped because of that, and obviously in the time that we've seen him be champion, his inactivity, he hasn't been stripped of the UFC belt. So it's very interesting. I think the bigger question is, you know, due to all this inactivity, if it was anyone else, would they have been stripped?
Yeah. Oh, because I have prior examples. Yuri Prohaska got injured, vacated his title. And look, Yuri and Jamal both vacated their titles. They were never stripped of the titles. They were just honorable people. They knew that they wanted to keep this division moving, unlike Jon Jones, who wanted to just keep the belt and parade around with the belt. Yeah, go milk your money, make your money off the belt, because that's so important. But Yuri and Jamal actually did the honorable thing. They let go of the belt. They keep the division moving. They let new contenders come up. And hey, Yuri Prohaska found himself in 2 opportunities after to get the belt back. And unfortunately, he didn't succeed. But, you know, it doesn't shut the door. Like losing the belt or vacating it. Jamal Hill, too. He got a chance on the biggest card in UFC history to go and get the belt from Alex Pereira. Like you're not shutting yourself out on those opportunities to go get the belt. And that's what I don't. I get Jon Jones is 37 years old. I get that he's old, and all that.
Glover won the belt at 42. But
sure, but I think this is a clear and cut. This is a stain on his legacy. It really is. In addition to other stains on his legacy, which I could dive into further, I think him not fighting Aspinall is something that will actually be remembered. Now, Jones fans will swear that no one will remember it because when Tom Aspinall loses, no one's going to care. It doesn't matter if Tom Aspinall loses. People are still going to remember that he didn't fight Tom Aspinall when he was the interim champion and the clear #1 contender and the only fight to make, and arguably the biggest heavyweight fight to make in a very long time, probably since Ngannou and Stipe. So
I was saying it's Jones versus Aspinall, the greatest fight that never was.
Literally.
I mean, personally, still, in my opinion, I know it's so hard to just like defend this, especially because I mean, Jon Jones is the greatest fighter that I've ever seen fight personally, that I think I've seen compete in MMA from the time that I've been watching. But there are a lot of tarnishes on his reputation outside the octagon, inside the octagon. And now this, I mean, this is outside the octagon, obviously, but this is just the mental game within the actual game that he was playing, and it's just very interesting to see and kind of analyze why he might have done this. I really personally, I was trying to think of so many reasons of why he was just holding out, playing like chess, not checkers. But I really was speechless. I had no idea what to think when I saw Dana White or heard, excuse me, say that on the press conference, at the press conference. It was just it was very interesting to see the fight that was built up so much. It was almost like boxing promotion. And the thing is, with all the tangibles involved, and then you have Tom Aspinall saying, in the buildup, that I will what did he say?
I will retire Jon Jones without even fighting him. And he did. He literally backed up his words. Jon Jones was scared of this guy and retired. Literally, that's all that happened. And that's all people bring up. I go to every single comment under any Jon Jones retirement post on Instagram, under any retirement Jon Jones tweet on Twitter. They all say the same thing. You ran away. You literally quit and ran away because you were going to be faced with your toughest task to date, and you ran away from it.
They're calling him a duck, not a goat now. I mean, sure. I don't know how many people considered him the GOAT before this. I mean, I know you didn't, Srikar. I know
not me. No,
you said you have no GOAT of MMA.
Yeah, so I guess this is a good time to say that, considering this podcast is still in its it's an early formative years.
Yeah.
I don't have a GOAT. Like, I don't have a GOAT of UFC, a GOAT of MMA, and it's because with every it's because of two things. With every single fighter that comes through the UFC, respective to each era, they may be good, they may be bad. GSP lost fights. He did. And people are going to hold it against him. That's the reason that, yeah, exactly. And that's even though GSP went back and beat him, it's still a stain on your record, and people will use it against you in any GOAT debate. Anderson Silva, same thing. Lost to Chris Weidman. Even though he went on that big winning streak, people are going to remember the Weidman loss. All right, that bars him from GOAT. So you may be asking, yeah, Jon Jones does have a loss on his record to Matt Hamill, which I do count, by the way, because it kind of does count. If other losses count, then this counts. Illegal move. I don't hold it against him all that much. But the thing is, if you're asking me, okay, a guy that's seen it all and done this and done that, why would you not consider him the GOAT? Well, one, I don't think the resume is as good as people hype it up to be. And two, he cheated. I can't in good faith to myself, this is Srikar Rajendran talking, in good faith to myself, I cannot call him the GOAT because he cheated the sport. And when you cheat the sport and you cheat the art form, that matters to me. It really does. And it definitely resonates with me because it's disrespectful. It just is. It's disrespectful not only to the sport, but to the opponent that you shared the octagon with. Daniel Cormier, I love you. You did not deserve that. It goes to show, even outside the octagon, it's what happened inside the octagon as well, which bars me from saying he's the GOAT. And I could delve into it further, but even looking at his early run.
I agree with that.
Even looking at his early run, like
being fair to DC, because that was not right. Because even when he tested positive before their fight,
both times,
that's.
And I think DC in that first fight showed him the most adversity he'd seen on that early run. Well, aside from Gustafsson,
Yeah, the Gustafsson fight was insane.
But when you feel adversity that much that you have to cheat, like I can't. I just can't.
He
You
didn't
know,
cheat against DC the first time. He just
did.
he did cocaine.
You know, well, if the UFC saw it that way, they wouldn't have stripped him of the belt. Just
But it wasn't the UFC, it was USADA.
Who does drug tests. He set a UFC record for failed drug tests.
Yeah,
He
okay.
was probably popping.
That is statistical information that cannot be defended because
it's the part that everyone likes to keep hidden, huh?
Yeah, I mean, well, okay, but that first test, he did test positive for a metabolite found in cocaine. And publicly stated that he beat Daniel Cormier off a weekend of cocaine after in the press conference.
I still find that disrespectful to the art form if you have to do cocaine before a fight with Daniel Cormier, then I feel like that's still disrespectful to DC.
Yeah, no, I mean, well, the reason the reasons behind his partying and everything, right? In the early days is because he said that he would party and drink and everything because it would give him mentally almost like a reason or something to fall back on. So if he lost, he could go back to that mentally and say, that's the reason that I lost.
That's a horrible mindset to have. Hey, any viewer out there, never think like that.
No,
if that's what a GOAT mindset is, that is not a good mindset in the slightest.
It's the whole story of Jon Jones is just it's cinematic. The whole thing is cinematic.
Not in a good way.
Yeah, no, I'm not saying in a good or a bad way. I'm just saying the way that he's talked about and now perceived, and the things that he's done, like I said, in and out of the octagon, mainly outside of the octagon. He rose to stardom at a young age. I'm sure, that was tough for him because not a lot of people can handle fame and that type of adversity of being someone of stature. And he had a lot of pressure on him as well. I'm sure that, with the two of his brothers being in the NFL, that was a lot of pressure on him as well. And I'm sitting here, and now the more that I talk about it, like I'm really defending him and defending the actions that he's committed, and I really shouldn't be, and I'm not. I condemn everything that he's done. Like, you obviously, Srikar, we just graduated college. We're grown-ups now. Like, everything, not to say that things before that didn't matter, because obviously it matters. But like, this is the real world. You got to shape up and be someone that people can look up to. Like, you should strive to be a role model for other people, and especially for someone in his spot, his position, someone of his he is such a pull in the MMA world. People look at him and are just mystified, and they speak about him like he's mythical, like we'll never see one of him again. And like athletes in other sports, like LeBron James. I love LeBron, man. You don't hear anything bad about LeBron. LeBron is, like you said, Srikar, man. He treats the art with respect. He's just a purebred artist when it comes to playing a sport. And he's a role model for kids to look up to because he understands where he's at in life and where he is in society. He's a huge figure globally, worldwide.
Mm-hmm.
So many eyes on him, millions, billions of eyes on him. And he knows that he has to set out an example for the younger generation and other people. And he does a great job of that. And it's just so sad to see someone of the status of Jon Jones just not, be able to do that. And
honestly, he never cared for it, which is another one of my big problems. Like,
exactly.
If you're going to call yourself the GOAT as much as you do, which, by the way, he's so insecure about that. Like, so insecure. If you have to call yourself the GOAT this much, maybe you're not the GOAT.
Yeah.
The people will choose that for you. And the people have chosen not.
I'm still going to stick by it. Like, his just what I've seen and personally in MMA in my head, he is currently my GOAT. I just maybe I'll have a change of mind in a little bit. I hope Aspinall, maybe replaces that. He's absolutely insane, but there's so much that goes into it. And it's like I said, man, it's like you can make a mistake once, and obviously, depending on the mistake, could be forgivable. Say, okay, you get another chance. Usually should get another chance. But when you get this many chances and it just keeps happening over and over again, not to mention, as soon as Jon Jones retires, who tweeted it, Srikar? I forgot who tweeted it. It's someone from the Albuquerque Journal.
Yes.
Tweeted that Jon Jones was being given a misdemeanor charge.
Jeff Grammer.
Okay. Jeff Grammer tweeted that Jon Jones was being assessed a misdemeanor charge for a hit and run in, I believe, February. And it was an accident. I believe a car accident, hit and run. Mm-hmm. And, it's completely ironic that information drops as soon as,
which makes it an even more horrible way to go out.
Yes,
I mean,
yes,
I literally texted Chris and Sam. I was like, one last parting gift from Jon Jones. There you go.
It's just you run out of chances at a point, and the fact that he's got this many chances and hasn't learned or at least tried to shape up, it's just what else can you say, man? Like, literally, what else can you say?
But I mean, even when I look at like his resume, it's like in that early light heavyweight run, Shogun Rua was past his prime, past the Pride days. Rampage's prime was 2009. He fought Jon Jones in 2011. That was also past his prime, which I'm reaching there a little bit, but
yeah, I'm all right. Look, I think when he beat Shogun, that was awesome. He was the youngest. He became the youngest champion. Shogun was still good.
Because there was like no one else. Like the talent pool was less at the time.
Yeah, it's kind of like how the heavyweight division is going to be for Tom Aspinall now.
But no, Aspinall's run was way better than Jones's run to the title, just because he had to fight more contenders, more ranked guys.
No, I mean
newer generation of heavyweight. He showed more in those wins up to that point. Like, who did Jones beat? He beat Brandon Vera. He beat Ryan Bader. Lost to Hamill.
Yeah, he lost to Hamill. He beat.
See, like, we can't even remember the names. Like, was it really that good?
I'll always remember his first fight when he beat Andre Guzmão. That was awesome to see.
But even then, Shogun was 3-2 before the Jones fight in the UFC. He was 3-5 after. Yeah. Like, he wasn't in his prime. Like, I love Shogun Rua. He was not in his prime. Like, his Pride days, that was the prime Shogun.
Bonner, rest in peace. Jake O'Brien, never heard of Jake O'Brien. No disrespect to Jake O'Brien. But yeah, he beat Brendan Vera, Vladimir Matuchenko, Bader, and then Rua. After that, he was just taking out pretty much legends. And Srikar, your argument is that it was fading legends. And you know what? I mean,
yes.
Or
legends that were middleweights. Like Lyoto Machida was a middleweight. Chael Sonnen, middleweight. Like,
I mean, look, I think the Shogun fight, his first few fights, Shogun, Quinton, and Rashad Evans.
Evans was past it.
Yes, but also, like, look, they were training partners. Like, still, it's like
it's good for the narrative, but like, is it good for the resume?
The old guard getting ushered out by the new guard, and the new guard was Jon Jones, people like Gustafsson. I just think that there should be weight on those. Like, he took out absolute legends, and those legends still continued for a long time after.
But they were still past it. But I do give him credit that at such a young age he was able to do that. But
he was dominant, man. Like, that's what I'm like. He was pure.
To share a fight, he cheated. He cheated like a ton of times in the Teixeira fight, especially with the eye pokes.
Yeah, there were a lot of eye pokes in that. He's very
like the Vitor fight honestly should have been a no contest because they're both juicing for sure. Like, there's no way Vitor wasn't juicing.
Well, Vitor is known to be juicing.
Yeah, so I mean,
it was known.
That's that. But I do think that was an impressive win, escaping the arm bar, and then snatching the key lock. I think that was a good win for Jon Jones. Gustafsson won. I think Gus won based on damage. I would have given Gustafsson the first 3 rounds anyway.
I think that was a really close fight, but it was more of like a split decision fight than a unanimous decision. Even though it was I believe it was 48-47 across the board.
No, one judge gave Jon a 49-46, which is absolutely crazy.
That's not good. That's almost like Jamal Hill. That's almost like Jamal Hill getting a 5th round victory from.
That's almost like giving Jon Jones a 49-46 against Dom Reyes, which speaking of which,
that was definitely not a
blatant robbery.
I personally, I think that the Dom Reyes fight and the Gustafsson fight are the only 2 fights that I've ever seen from Jon Jones and been like, damn, he lost. Like maybe lost. Not lost, but there was an inkling in my brain that
wow. I think he straight up lost the Reyes fight. Like
the
first 3 rounds.
Awesome. It was close. It was so close. But and like credit to Dom Reyes, man. He's insane too. He's surging back up in the light heavyweight division. Love to see what he's going to do.
Low-key, now that I think about it, isn't it funny? Dom Reyes gave Jon Jones such a tough fight. Jon Jones literally went and admitted, like, oh, yeah, there was a point in this fight where I was like, oh, Jon's going to lose. And then I had to lock in and win, which is like, yeah.
Yeah.
But isn't it funny that after that fight, he didn't give Reyes a rematch? He just kind of sat there and just waited. And Ngannou called him out because he was doing his business at heavyweight.
That was right at the time of COVID. They fought right before COVID.
Right.
Yes, I mean they were still testing fighters and
from 2020 to 2023, he did not fight. Jon Jones did not fight. He didn't want to fight Reyes again. Yeah, because he knew he'd lose. Like, this is the guy Jon Jones is. He thinks he's going to lose a fight. He's not going to take it. Wow, such a GOAT mentality there.
I guess, but like, I mean, why would you take any fight that you don't think you're going to win?
To prove yourself. Like, people do this in the UFC all the time. Yeah. And also, you should have... Bad how can you actively say, oh, I'm the greatest of all time, I can beat anyone that's in front of me, and be like, nah, I'm gonna lose to him? Like, what? Like, come on. Like, that literally counters everything that a GOAT is supposed to stand for. But anyway, he avoids the Reyes rematch. He avoids Ngannou. Ngannou literally, like, he calls him out. Like, he beats Gon, he calls him out. Like, this fight should happen.
Yeah.
And Jon Jones is like, ooh, how are you calling yourself the baddest man from across the street? And Francis is like, bro, just across the street. Like, fight me. Like, I'm trying to fight you. Jon didn't do it. And apparently it might have been for money issues, but hey, the money was good for Gon. The money was good for Stipe. The money was good for Aspinall. Apparently he took the money. According to Ariel Helwani, he took the money for the Tom Aspinall fight, where all the Jon Jones fans were like, oh, he's not getting paid enough. We should pay him more. We should give him 30 mil. Guess what? The UFC was prepared to give him 30 mil. If what Ariel Helwani is saying is correct, they would give him 30 mil. He said yes, and then 2 days later he said no.
Yep. I believe Ariel, and I believe that Dana would have given him probably what he wanted.
And that's probably why Dana was so confident. That's probably why he thought this fight would happen, because he was willing to fork over the money to make it happen. But again, hey, the pay was good for Gon and Stipe, though, right? I guess these are all things that are just building my case. Like, I don't think this guy, like, I can't look at Jon Jones and say that is a guy that I can consider the greatest of all time. I literally just can't bring myself to do that.
I mean, yeah, I really... There's nothing I can say to defend what you're saying. I'm just speechless that he retired.
It's hard. Like, I
thought he was putting on a facade. Personally, I thought this was all play games, and he was just playing a mental game. And eventually, he was gonna be like, "All right, I'm gonna fight him," and then it would be the biggest super fight, probably almost ever. I think that would literally probably be the biggest fight ever.
Jon Jones can dish it, but he can't take it. Like, that's the problem. Like, if you want to claim you're the GOAT, if you want to go out and say all these things, one thing is just back it up.
I just, like, if I was Jon Jones, I would just want to shut people up and then go out there and fight.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
I don't
if I were
understand.
him, I'd want to prove people wrong, and he's done it before. He's proved people wrong before.
Yep.
I mean, there was I mean, I wasn't one of them, but there was a contingent of fans that probably thought Cyril Gane was gonna beat Jon Jones.
Oh yeah, I mean, dude, the odds were actually
Like, I'm pretty sure Gane was a
close.
slight underdog, like
Yeah, he opened as the favorite initially. And then obviously people are going to be very sharp on Jon Jones given his track record and record in general. But
but if Aspinall isn't a good name for your resume, like, oh, he doesn't do anything for me, I would beat him so easily, then why
yep.
don't you do it? But if it's so easy for you, just
Yeah, I really just don't understand. I obviously none of us can be in his head. And I don't understand how you make the decision from November until now. That's 8 months.
that's the Jon Jones tried and
He
true
lost
method, though.
itch to fight in that 8 months. Like, I feel like he almost it feels like he almost pre-planned his retirement for after the Stipe fight, didn't drop his gloves, so he didn't have to deal with any media, any press. He could sail off into the sunset, play this game of tag with it's literally he's playing phone tag with Tom Aspinall. They're playing tweet like tag on X, just tagging each other, whatever. Um yeah, I that's the only thing that I'm thinking of that's what happened. And then you go on the Nelk podcast and you say that you literally don't want to fight anymore and then retire instantly. Like,
not to mention he walked off the podcast as soon as he was asked about Tom
yeah,
Aspinall. So he's genuinely scared of this guy. Like that's a fearful mindset.
I
Like, you don't even want to take questions about
I
this guy.
know. Like, I don't know if he's scared of him necessarily. Like, yes, it looks very much like that, but I was trying to think of like, yeah, it's Tom Aspinall's the only person to. Oh yeah, wow. I guess I'm literally describing him being scared. I was gonna say Tom Aspinall is probably the only person that will actually put that two on his record because it's still a one. But
Yeah.
I
I also, for what it's worth,
I
I think if this fight, yeah, I agree. Like, if this fight was set up, I think Aspinall would win within 2 rounds. Like, I actually think he would steamroll Jon Jones. Like, I
oh,
think he'd win
I,
by
I,
TKO.
would, I think it would be a close fight. I think it would be a very close fight.
Nah, with the way Jon looked in that Stipe fight, like uber slow, like very slow. Didn't really have the best movement, especially against a guy like Stipe, who was kind of like a fossil at that point. Was just throwing punches. Didn't look as technical as before. Didn't look like the Stipe we know and love.
Yep.
I don't against a beast like Tom Aspinall, who could match you on the ground as well.
Yeah. All right. Yes, he can match, but I think I still think Jon Jones has the advantage in the wrestling and
Maybe in the wrestling, but in the grappling, I think Tom has it.
grappling, jiu-jitsu probably, but Jon Jones is just so dominant and holding people down, and Tom is just a natural heavyweight, so that's where it gets tricky. But
Hey, I guess we'll never find out, though. We're
you know
never going to find out.
You know what I was saying before? I'll tell the viewers. I was talking to Srikar about this before, but it would be insane if Tom Aspinall, let's say, I don't know who he's gonna fight. Maybe Cyril Gane in Las Vegas. For Jon Jones to come out of retirement after Tom Aspinall gets 1 or 2 wins and say, "All right, now I'm ready."
If I'm Tom Aspinall, I don't even entertain it. Like, I'm not even.
I wouldn't. If I was
not even
Aspinall,
giving
it's
him a
over.
fight.
Book is closed. You retired. There's no coming out of retirement.
Yeah, and after all that he went through, I waited in my prime for you.
The thing is, they would give it to him, Srikar. You know they would. They would make Tom take that fight, which is sad because Tom has earned the right to say no, 100%.
Yeah, Tom could say no, but I mean, I don't think we're gonna get to that point.
Not. I think if they offered Tom that fight, he shouldn't entertain it, but he would because he's a bad man. He would take that fight just to.
And we don't know in the next, however many years, how will the contender pool really look at heavyweight?
Yeah.
Like, is there going to be like a strong contender? Like, is there going to be a guy? But I like where you're going. Let's switch gears here. Let's talk about Tom Aspinall and what this means for him because, we don't necessarily know when Tom will be fighting next. So apparently Tom Aspinall is going to be at International Fight Week next week. He's going to meet with UFC brass, and they're going to be going over.
Someone special is going to be there too at International Fight Week.
Yours truly will be at UFC 317. Very excited for that, by the way. Hopefully I run into Tom Aspinall. I can go give him a fist bump or something.
Heavyweight champ, you'd be fist bumping.
Hey, I will. Okay, if I see Tom Aspinall, I will literally tell him, my champion. No glaze. I will tell him, you are the real heavyweight champion. But but Tom Aspinall will meet with UFC brass, and he apparently said before that he has a date and location for this next fight, but Dana White said, okay, we're going to meet with Tom and go over things. So maybe they don't have something set in stone. Maybe they just announced UFC 320 in October. It's going to be in Vegas. I could see Tom Aspinall on that card. I think Tom Aspinall will be defending his title in the States. Me and Chris talked about this a little bit before, but if the matchup is Cyril Gane, I don't think, I mean, maybe they elevate the Paris fight night to a pay-per-view and slap him on there against Cyril Gane, but
I wouldn't give Tom Aspinall his first defense
in enemy territory.
Yes, exactly. Gane hasn't done really anything to deserve that type of treatment. Like he's had that type of treatment before, and obviously he has deserved it in the past. But I mean, Aspinall, newly crowned king, undisputed king. You put him in fan favorite scenarios. You put him where he'd be the most popular, he'd gain the most traction. And I just don't plainly think it would be fair to put him on that Paris card. And I don't know what their plans are for that card. It's going to be very interesting because there's going to be a gap in pay-per-views.
Yeah, that's why I was thinking they elevate Paris to a pay-per-view, but like, I don't know, maybe they do Aspinall Gane there. I have no idea. Look, if Tom Aspinall fights Cyril Gane in Paris and beats him like easily, which I think he will, like I think he's going to run through Cyril Gane.
Oh, yeah. I think this is his division now. It's going to be
like this is going to be, I think, the most dominant title reign since like the Volk days, since like the Kamaru days, since like the Izzy days. Like fans that are like attached to those champs.
Dare I say it? Since the early Jon Jones days.
Could be. I mean, I think this is I think he's gonna be a great champion. Yeah. Like he wants to be active. He wants to stay active.
Yep.
He wants to fight the top guys. He wants to do everything that Jon Jones refused to do at heavyweight, and I love it. I think it's fantastic.
Yep. There needed to be fresh blood circulated at the top.
And speaking of fresh blood, we don't know who this next contender is going to be. Like, it could be Cyril Gane, but you look down the list, Jailton Almeida has been calling for this fight heavily. He's coming off a TKO over Sergey Spivak back in January. Alexander Volkov, I think he beat Cyril Gane, but obviously the judges thought not. So he might be fighting someone else before fighting for the title. And even then, is there really that much interest in a Volkov and Aspinall rematch? I don't really know, but if he picks up another win, maybe there is some interest there. But even looking down the line, like Curtis Blades, do we really want a trilogy with Curtis Blades? Like, I don't know, but maybe it could get to that point. It's going to be him literally running down the line, beating people he already beat. Yep. That's why this Jones fight was so important, because he'd already beaten everyone to get up here. You know, the only guy that was missing was Gane, but Gane didn't want to fight Aspinall because he was out shooting a Netflix movie. So
I mean, hey, good for him. Congratulations.
Hey, I'll watch the movie, but he avoided the fight, though. That's for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know too many people who want to fight Tom Aspinall right now, and
he's tough.
I think one of their names is Jon Jones.
Yeah, and that's the thing. You know, I think, what would it take for Tom Aspinall to become the heavyweight GOAT? I think that's the conversation we can start having right now, because to me, I think he is already the best heavyweight that the division's ever seen in terms of pure skill, technical excellence.
Yeah,
I think it's Aspinall. Like,
that's what I was saying. He's a true bred 265er,
like a natural heavyweight, like shades of like Cain Velasquez, but like much more enhanced in like different areas that Cain was lacking in.
Yeah, and a little stockier too.
Yeah, which is not a slight to Cain. Like Cain Velasquez was insane.
Yep.
But this guy is different. Like Tom Aspinall is a guy that you look down the line and you look at every single contender and you're like, how are they going to beat Tom Aspinall? Like how is Tom Aspinall going to finish them? And what could they do to even make it like a really good fight against Tom Aspinall? Because Curtis Blades, everyone said it'd be the wrestling. And they got into like one clinch exchange, and then after that, Blades got knocked out. Like
I really agree. Back to your point though, of this reign is going to be like a Kamaru or an Izzy, even Volk type of reign of just absolutely clearing out a division. Like even Volk fought Holloway 3 times. Blades and Aspinall have fought twice. In the future, there could be a third if there's really no one at the top. If the opportunity doesn't present itself to Tom of, fighting anyone else, then yeah, he's going to be fighting these guys. Like you said, he's just going back down the list, checking the same box.
New blood is needed at heavyweight.
Yeah.
And speaking of new blood, they did just sign Ante Delija, which is awesome signing. Ante's a beast. Trains at the same gym as Aspinall too, which should be interesting.
Yep.
Maybe they set up a quasi like Jones Evans kind of scenario with Aspinall and Ante, but I mean, who knows? But either way you shake it. So if Jones Aspinall actually happened, I would have said that Tom Aspinall, if he beat Jon Jones and maybe defended his belt like 1 or 2 more times, he'd be the heavyweight GOAT. Now, I think if you get like 4 defenses, I think he's the heavyweight GOAT. Like 4 defenses is probably the golden number. Yeah. Like 4 or 5, I think we'll do it.
I think so too. And no slight to anyone that Stipe's beat or the path that he had, because he was fighting warriors, absolute champions. I think that Tom's run to the top is just something else. And the fact that, the heavyweight division, it's not in peril. It's not like it could be better. We could see a little more talent flow. That's why Ante Delija, very good signing by the UFC. Very excited for that. Also Shamrock as well. Just a quick
Shamrock is a beast.
Shamrock, that'll be awesome to see. But yeah, it's just Tom Aspinall he's just gonna keep accepting fights. He's gonna literally fight anyone that they put in front of him, because that's the type of guy he is. That's the type of champ he is. And I really just don't see a world where he doesn't go on, like a four title defense run at minimum.
Mm-hmm. I think at least 3. Once it's like 4 or 5, there's no guarantees because,
that's just,
you never know. But
wear and tear. But dude, it's also like he goes out there and just starches people. There's nothing I wouldn't say fancy, but he is just so clean cut. There's nothing, he's not beating around the bush when he goes out there. He's going out there with bad intentions every time. He's trying to put you out every single time, and he doesn't overdo it, which I like. He plays the game where he just goes in and out. It's just it's like sparring. Like, so when I was younger, I did karate, and in sparring, obviously karate and taekwondo are different. When you're sparring karate, you're not trying to hurt the person. It's almost like a game of tag. That's what he's doing. Just boom, in and out, in and out. And he's so good at it, and it's so crazy. It's like we said, he's a natural 265er moving like he's literally 170, 155 pounds.
Yeah.
It's actually unfathomable.
Like his welterweight speed at 265.
Yeah, literally. How do you stop that?
I was watching a video of him sparring with Paddy Pimblett. His punches were faster than Paddy's, which is ridiculous. Paddy's a lightweight, which he's not a 155 at all times. Obviously, he inflates up to like a.
Shout out Paddy, Paddy. I love how you enjoy yourself, man. Like you.
Yeah, no, we love Paddy over here. Like, awesome. We always rock with Paddy the Baddy. But the fact that his punches are faster than Paddy's that's a scary thought.
Oh yeah,
that is a very, very scary thought. And he packs power too, tons of power. But Jon Jones is retired. Tom Aspinall, the new undisputed UFC heavyweight champion, and a lot to look forward to in this heavyweight division. Now, if what Tom Aspinall says is true and he's going to stay active, it's going to be an exciting title reign for sure. Both of us agree.